Okay, so let's jump in the lane to straight into today's lesson. We've been nicely warmed up by that preliminary stuff about current Western medical system and how it works. So let me share my screen with you. Right, so you can read that, read the headline quote, very simple.
Sickness is a defense against the truth.
But it leads quite nicely from yesterday's lesson, which is all about defenses. When I defend myself, I'm attacked. This is an extension of this, saying, well, let's focus in on one of the ego's primary defenses, which is sickness. Okay, so nothing much to translate. So just going straight into the alternative. It's quite a long lesson. So let's get straight into it. I've got about an hour. So if we just read the alternative, I'll quicken it up.
Yeah. I cannot heal unless they understand what purpose sickness seems to serve. For then I will also understand as well that its purpose has no meaning. Being causeless and without a meaningful intent of any kind, it cannot be at all. When I perceive this, healing is automatic. It dispels the meaningless illusion by the same approach that carries all of them to truth and merely leaves them there to disappear.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Well, until we understand the purpose of sickness, we can't really heal. It's saying being causeless and without meaningful intent of any kind cannot be at all. Yeah.
Cannot exist at all. So you look at Yeshua, I mean, probably the greatest healer ever. You know, so some of the miracles he did were extraordinary. He understood this on a very high level. He understood the origin of sickness was actually sin and guilt. And so whenever he did his healings, he watched the children, he would say, and your sins are forgiven you. So you realize that the sickness was a manifestation of this, the sense of sin and guilt that person had believed in. And he came along. The reason why he was so effective was because people really believed he was the Messiah. They believed he could do this. They believed he was the Messiah. There was this whole religious tradition in Judaism. There was a prophecy, and they believed, you know, they believed. And because they believed, it had a profound impact on them. They were actually, in that moment, able to drop the sin and the guilt, and that allowed for these profound healings to happen. And, you know, as he said a number of times, he said, I haven't done anything. It's your faith that has made you well. The faith has done it, not me. Faith in something beyond guilt and sin. Faith in a transcendent power we call love or God. Okay, so, but he's going into the purpose of sickness. Okay, so let's unpack this sickness thing a little bit and see what it's really all about, because once you understand it, then you can be done with it. All right, so number 2.
Yeah. Sickness is no accident. Like all defenses, it is an insane device for self-deception. And like all the rest, its purpose is to hide truth, attack it, change it, render it inept, distort it, twist it, or reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. The aim of all defenses is to keep truth from being whole. The parts are seen as if each one were whole within itself.
render it inept. Maybe we should say make it powerless,
Yeah.
like that. That's what it means. Make it powerless, distort it, twist it, or reduce it to a little pile of unassembled parts. We're talking about the body here. Aim of all defenses to keep the truth from being whole. Parts are seen as if each one were whole within itself. So really a critique of modern medicine, isn't it? How do they perceive the body? Yeah, it's in parts. Oh, well, we have a specialist for this part of the body. There's kidney specialists and heart specialists, and there's brain specialists. And they've segmented this body into all these parts, and you have specialists and specialists, areas of medicine to deal with these parts. This is what he's saying. A little pile of unassembled parts. Parts are seen as if each one were whole within itself. Parts are perceived. And so the criticism then is, well, who's seeing the whole picture? Very few people. You get so specialized on your particular part. Let's say you're a kidney specialist. But I mean, does that give you an understanding of the whole being of the person that you're talking about and the psychology of what's going on in their mind? And how that impacts not just their kidney, but their entire body mind system? No, it doesn't. In fact,
No.
it likely to make you very myopic, and you just focus on the kidneys because that's what you've been trained to do. So there's no kind of holistic approach and holistic healing, and ability to look beyond that part that you focused on, which is why it's so myopic and such a limited system. Okay, so he carries on. Defenses are not unintentional.
Defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. They are secret magic wands I wave when truth appears to threaten what I want to believe. They seem to be unconscious only because of the rapidity. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't say
Rapidity,
yeah, with which I choose to use them. In that second or even less in which the choice is made, I can recognize exactly what I am attempting to do and then proceed to think that it is done.
What's he saying here?
So it's just saying, well, the defenses are not unintentional, nor are they made without awareness. It's the secret magic wands we wave, the truth that appears to threaten what we want to believe. So it's these false idols, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite challenging, really. I mean, because if you're sick and you read this, you say, well, I didn't make myself sick. No, I didn't intend this.
No.
He's saying, but if you're really honest with yourself, on some level you did.
Oh,
So
yes.
start becoming aware of that. They seem to be unconscious only because of the rapidity with which I choose to use them. In that second or even less in which the choice is made.
It's just, I think what it is, for certainly in the human perspective, it's so much easier to just take a pill and have great faith in that. That's the thing, isn't it?
It doesn't require any effort. You don't have to look at your mind and your beliefs. You just go, doctor, I'm sick. The sickness is outside of me. It's not my fault. The doctor agrees with you, says, okay, well, here's a pill and that's going to make it better. Okay, well, great, easy. Pop the pill, it's going to make it better. Only problem is it doesn't work.
It'll come back again. It'll come back. If it does go,
you haven't gone to the source of the problem. The source of the problem is in the mind. And no pill can heal your mind. If it was that easy, we'd all pop an enlightenment pill and we'd be like, right, I'm done.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
Well, it's called drugs, you
Yeah.
take a drug like heroin. Yeah, temporarily you'll experience that. And it'll last, whatever, half an hour, and you'll have this amazing high, and and then you're back in, back in normal world. But now
Ego
you've
word,
got
yeah.
this powerful chemical, and your body's getting addicted to the drug, and now you crave it, and now you're really
Yeah.
in trouble. Because
Mm.
now you've got to get your fix just to feel somewhat normal because you're in such a downer. So, if it worked, we could pop a pill to do this, then we would all do that, wouldn't we?
Oh, yes.
Can't. You
Yeah.
can't. No, it
No,
clearly
no.
doesn't work. That's why drug addiction doesn't work
Hmm.
because there's a huge downside. You can't cheat it. You have to do it naturally. You have to do it with your own mind, and you have to activate those happy chemicals. The same chemicals that a drug activates, dopamine and serotonin, because that's all heroin or something does. It floods your body with those chemicals, and you go, "Oh, wow, just blissing out."
Mm.
But you haven't done any work to do it.
No,
So
no,
it's the
no.
same approach. It's just, it's the flip side of taking a drug to try and heal you. It's the same idea. I'll take a drug to get pleasure and bliss out. But it's in the magic. It's just using magic. And of course, it doesn't work because you can only use your mind. Sustainably, you can only do it through a disciplined spiritual practice to let go of the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. That if you go into the state of pure formless awareness, you then activate all these happy chemicals and they naturally release. And then you can experience these euphoric states of bliss, except it's happened naturally and there's no come down because you haven't artificially done it. You don't then go, oh, now I'm chemically addicted to this artificial substance that I've used to get the high. It's a natural state that you can maintain and sustain, but it requires a lot of discipline. You can't just pop a pill. It's like hours and hours of disciplined work and the mind training and everything we do. That's what it requires.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
there's no easy way to it. If there was,
Discipline. Yeah.
we'd all just pop it.
Practice and discipline. Yeah.
And
That's
so it's the same with
certainly.
healing. There's no
Mhm.
easy way just to. It's like no, I've got to let go of my thoughts and emotions that are behind this. The dis-ease. You talked
Mhm.
about the dis-ease that you experienced this morning. Well, imagine if you're in that all the time.
Oh,
That's going to
that would be
manifest in
awful. Yeah.
disease in the body because the
Yeah.
body is just a reflection of the mind.
Well, the body doesn't
And no
feel
tool is
very
going to sort
nice
that out. You've
afterwards.
got to you've got to let
Mm.
go of the dis-ease in your mind.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. Oh, I can see
Okay.
it all. It's interesting. You can see it all running, and you
Mm,
have the power to cut it in its tracks within seconds.
mm.
You really do
And yet
know
you
that.
don't.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting how strong the ego is. It's
Mm,
really a real
yeah.
taskmaster. It really is.
They seem to be unconscious only because of the rapidity with which I choose to use them. They're not really unconscious, because you're using them, and a part of your mind knows that it's using them.
Mm.
So you choose to get upset and annoyed, and then you choose to stay there.
Oh,
And
yes.
you
No,
can
it's
try and say,
true.
"Oh, well, I didn't really," but actually you did. You
Well, maybe the,
reacted. The
yeah,
trigger comes, and in that moment, you make a choice on some level to get upset.
because you're thinking it's probably going to correct the problem, perhaps. I don't know. It's mad.
Well, the ego is delusional. It does it. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't go to that level of logic. It's just like, no, you're going to react, and of course, it
Mm.
wants you to react because that
Oh,
strengthens
yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And we've really got to be
Yeah.
vigilant and say, okay, I'm not going to be unconscious anymore. I'm going to be really aware of these reactions, and that behind each reaction is a choice. If I'm
Yeah.
reacting, it's because I'm choosing to react that way. It doesn't
Mm.
just happen to me. What happens externally, I don't have control over. But how I choose
No,
to react, that's under my control.
that's the big one. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And
Instead of
that's really if you want to look at the key essence of this, it's that of any spiritual practice or teaching. It's like, yes, I have 100% control over my reactions. That's where your control lies, period. You can't
yeah.
control the world. You can't control what other people are doing. If you try and engage in those kind of control games, it's hopeless because you're never going to control it. But what you can always do is you can control your response. And any authentic spiritual teaching is going to teach you that. So you can control your response and you must control your response. How do you control your response? Well, here's a bunch of techniques to help you do that. Meditation and breath work and forgiveness practices and chanting and whatever else are going to help you to control your response to the inevitable triggers that the world is going to give you so that you don't react in that same unconscious reactive way. You learn to let go of those reactions and stay in peace. That's a lot of training. It's a lot of mind training. It doesn't just happen, does it? All right, so let's go to number 4. Who but myself evaluates a threat?
Who but myself evaluates a threat, decides escape is necessary, and sets up a series of defenses to reduce the threat that has been judged as real. All this cannot be done unconsciously, but afterwards my separate self's plan requires that I must forget I made it, so it seems to be external to my own intent, a happening beyond my state of mind, an outcome with a real effect on me instead of one affected by myself.
Okay, saying that.
Just trying to summarize that. We're putting a series of defenses to reduce the threat, which has been judged as real, but this can't be done unconsciously. So afterwards, the separate selves plan requires that we must forget we made it. So it seems to be external. So it's an event beyond my state of mind.
And that's the setup. Oh, no, it's outside of you. So if the problem's outside of you, then the solution's also outside of you. You see how it works?
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem's external to me. I've got whatever the disease is, and it's got nothing to do with me. So now I need to go externally to a doctor and get a drug or a vaccine or a whatever to help me. But there's a delusion in it because the cause is in your own mind. There's one affected by myself, one caused by my separate self. So it's the taking of the responsibility. You know, that key caveat of, okay, you know, I've always got a choice as to how I respond, means that I'm 100% responsible for everything, because I've always got a choice as to how I respond. And that's a level of responsibility most people don't want to accept. Be honest about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see my sort of silly state this morning. And I think I was sort of judging myself and getting myself even more annoyed with myself. So it was sort of a double whammy. Because I keep saying, you know better. You should know better than behaving like this.
So did you sit down and do a meditation?
No.
I
went out. I had to go down to the dog charity place. So I was getting irritated. I didn't know
anything.
I just went into something else that irritated me.
So that's where you go, okay, so in future, all right, take a time out. Elaine, your mind, you're noticing I'm getting turbulated, I'm being silly here. Okay, so let me give myself 10 minutes to reset before I go and do anything else, because I'm not in the right state. So if I go to the dog thing, I'm going to go in the wrong state and it's going to be the same kind of experience.
Well, I didn't show
there I go.
I kept it quiet. I didn't obviously show them I was turbulent.
No, but you took your state with you and you experienced that there. So it's like, okay, well, hang on. Let's just take a time out and reset myself. And that 10 minutes or 15 minutes that I take to reset myself is probably the most valuable thing I can do. It is the most valuable thing I can do with that time, because it's going to reset me for the rest of the day. Otherwise, the state's going to linger and it's going to negatively impact, all of my experiences and everything I do, say. And so that's just the wisdom of going, okay, so you're out of flow, take some time, get back in. And you've got the tools, I give you the meditations and the breath breaks for exactly that reason. You listen to if it's a state like that, take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, listen to the meditation. And clear it. And so you'll be 15 minutes later to get to the dog place, but so what? You have to be there at a certain time, did you? So it's just like, it's a good learning. Go, okay, in future, that's what I'll do. Because managing my mental and emotional state is primary.
It is, yeah.
That's the most important job that I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so carry on. Number 5 is this quick forgetting.
It is this quick forgetting of the part I play in making my reality that makes defenses seem to be beyond my own control. But what I have forgotten can be remembered if I am willing to reconsider my decision, which is doubly shielded by oblivion. My not remembering is only the sign that this decision still remains in force as far as my desires are concerned. I do not mistake this for fact. My defenses must make facts unrecognizable. The aim to do this, and it is this they do. So it's just, we quickly forget the part we play in making reality, quote marks. Our defenses, they seem to be beyond our control. But what we have forgotten can be remembered. So not remembering is not the sign that this decision still remains in force. So our defenses must make facts unrecognizable.
So our defenses, let's look at it this way. So where are we? Let's. These are the defenses. So the ego's defenses are your perceptions, emotions, thoughts, and core beliefs that defend against the truth of who you really are. There's a whole structure in our minds. This is what the ego is made up of: a core belief, but then there's a whole bunch of thoughts that go with that, and emotions, and then perception. And that structure is the defensive mechanism that he's talking about here, that make facts unrecognizable. So I can't, if I'm in this distorted perception, I can't see the truth. I'm not seeing facts. And people will say, oh, well, that's a fact. And you got to challenge that. I've had a couple of conversations. People will say that's a fact. I'm like, no, it's not a fact. That's your opinion. That's not fact. It's your opinion. It's your perception. Perception is not fact. Fact is, the only fact that's true is God is, love is. There is an awareness we call God that exists, that is. That's fact. That's true. Everything else is perception. Everything else is therefore illusion. So this is what he's pointing out here. Defenses make the true facts unrecognizable. So the defenses cover over the fact of God, and they introduce all kinds of illusions, and they want you to believe in those illusions as facts. And then people say, oh, that's a fact. It's like, no, that's really not a fact. It's your opinion. It's your perception. That's all. People don't like it when you say that, but it is the truth. It's not fact, it's perception. Because what the ego is trying to do is make the perception into the truth. Say, oh, this is a fact. No, it's not a fact at all. It's your perception. I remember in COVID listening to a lot of the narrative. It's like, oh, well, we know, and it's a fact. No, it's not fact. It's perception. It's like a belief. It's nothing to do with fact. There's no evidence for this. So it's just perception and belief you're talking about, not fact. But we get confused. And you see how the ego has confused the issue for its purposes, to obscure the truth. Because if you really see through this whole construct of illusion, you see through the lie, then you will get to the fact of who you are. And who you are will reveal itself. And that's what it doesn't want. Okay, so every defense takes fragments of the whole.
Every defense takes fragments of the whole, assembles them without regard to all their relationships, and so constructs illusions of a whole that is not there. It is this process that imposes threat and not whatever outcome may result. When parts are taken from the whole and seen as separate and wholes within themselves, they become symbols standing for attack upon the whole, successful in effect and never to be seen as whole again. Yet I have forgotten that they stand only for one decision of what should be real that takes the place of what is real. So it's just saying that these defenses take on fragments of the whole, and they do it without regard for their true relationships. And so it's constructed into illusions of a whole that is not there. It's this that imposes threat, and who knows what the result will be.
Yeah, so we fragment. The ego's defense against the truth is fragmentation. And look at, say, the medical system and how that works. Very fragmented perception of the body. Okay, well, the body's made up of all these separate parts, and we have specialists for each part. But who's seeing the whole picture? Very few. Occasionally you get an enlightened doctor who kind of sees it as one system. It's all integrated. It all connects. You can't disconnect a part of the whole and say, oh, well, it's a bit like saying, oh, well, I'll isolate that drop from the ocean. It's like, well, how can you do that? It's part of the ocean. But the perception is, oh, well, the ocean is made up of trillions and trillions of separate drops. But you're not seeing the big picture then, are you, at all? Because the interaction of the drops makes this ocean that behaves in these ways that are way beyond the sum of the parts. And then he's saying this is, just my own decision of what should be real that takes the place of what is real. So this is just a manifestation of my own fragmented thought system. The ego, being the thought system separation, must fragment. It cannot see wholeness because wholeness is oneness. And that's what it's denied. So why do we have such a fragmented world with all these, fragmented belief systems that seem to dominate it? Well, because separation is the ruling principle, the governing principle behind the miscreation of this world and universe. Okay, happy with that? Number 7, sickness is the decision.
Sickness is a decision. It is not a thing that happens to me, quite unsought, which makes me weak and brings me suffering. It is a choice and a plan I make when for a moment truth arises in my own deluded mind and my entire world appears to totter and prepare to fall. Now I am sick so that truth may go away and threaten my establishments no more. Well, sickness is a decision. It's a thing that happens to us. which can make us weak and make us suffer. Because it's wanting to keep us away from the truth. And it's only coming from our deluded mind.
Yeah, so he's putting the responsibility, firmly with us, saying, it's not something that just happens to you. It's a product of your beliefs. My entire world appears to totter and prepare to fall. And then I use sickness to prop up my separate self. Oh, well, look, I'm sick. I must be a body. I must be a separate self because look, I'm sick. So the truth may go away and threaten my establishments, threaten my beliefs no more. Okay, happy to move on to number 8. How do I think that sickness can succeed?
How do I think that sickness can succeed in shielding me from truth? Because it proves the body is not separate from me, and so I must be separate from truth. I suffer pain because the body does, and in this pain I am made one with it. So is my true identity preserved, and the strange haunting thought that I might be something beyond the little pile of dust silenced and stilled. For I seem to perceive that this dust can make me suffer, twist my limbs, stop my heart, commanding me to die and cease to be. So it's just saying, how can we think sickness can hide us from the truth? It's because it proves the body is not separate. And so I must be separate from the truth. So we suffer pain. Yeah. So we suffer the pain because the body does in this pain. So it's a sort of strange thought that might be something beyond this little pile of dust and silenced and stilled.
Well, this can just make me suffer, twist my limbs and stop my heart, commanding me to die and cease to exist. If I identify with the body and I say I'm a body, well, then that's what I believe. It's very terrifying. I just cease to exist. If my being, my consciousness, is a product of my body, of brain function, as the scientific materialist paradigm would have you believe, then when the body dies, you die. And you cease to exist. And that's very fearful. Which is why, as you get older, it becomes increasingly hard to find any kind of hope in that thought system. Like, well, I'm heading towards extinction then. This is it. When I die, then that's it. End of. When you die, and then that's it. End of you. Forever. Quite a belief system to have. I mean, how exactly one copes with that, I don't know. But I suppose then you distract yourself. You distract yourself with illusions and you go, well, I won't think about that. I'll distract myself and busy myself with things in the world so I don't have to think about that. But at some point, you're going to have to. Okay, number 9. So is the body stronger?
So is the body stronger than truth, which asks that I live but cannot overcome my choice to die. And so the body seems to be more powerful than everlasting life, the state of pure formless awareness, more frail than victimhood and suffering, and pure formless awareness of perfect love's design for the awakening of its extension opposed by a decision stronger than its awareness. Its extension is dust, its source incomplete, and chaos seems to triumph over its reality. So we're sort of deluded to think that the body is stronger than the truth. And the body seems to be more powerful than this everlasting life of state of pure formless awareness. more frail than this suffering and victimhood. And so in its extension is dust, its source incomplete, and chaos seem to triumph over its reality. Yeah, so we're just thinking that this separate body is stronger than this eternal awareness, pure formless awareness. This is what
Which
the
is
body
delusion.
thinks.
But if we believe it, then it becomes true for us. And then the ego says, well, look, yeah, it's true because look, you see the results and you're sick and you're suffering and you're dying. It must be true. But it's only true because you believed it to be true. So it's a victim of your own false belief. That's all sickness is, just a false belief. And you become the victim of your own false belief, which is totally insane. If you're causing yourself the sickness, why are you doing that? So then he, continues to critique this insanity. Such is my planning for my own defense.
Such is my planning for my own defense. And I believe that the state of pure formless awareness quails before such mad attacks as these. With pure formless awareness of perfect love, blinded by my illusions, truth turned into lies, and all reality enslaved to laws which my defenses impose on it. Yet who believes illusions but the one who made them up? Who else can perceive and react to them as if they were the truth?
Yeah. Thoughts on that?
So it's saying, such is our planning for our own defense. We believe that the pure formless awareness quails before such mad attacks as these. Was blinded by the illusions, truth turned into lies, and all reality enslaved to laws which my defense impose on it. Yet who believes illusions but the one who made them up? So, and who else can react to them as if they were the truth? Yeah.
So we've done this to ourselves. To laws which my defenses impose on it. Just your own delusions that then play out as sickness. Okay, and then he says, God knows not of your plans to change his will. I'll read the original, you read the alternative.
Oh, yeah,
So,
right.
God knows not of your plans to change his will.
Pure formless awareness of perfect love does not know of my plans to change its awareness.
The universe remains unheeding of the laws by which you thought to govern it.
True reality does not abide by the laws by which I thought to govern it.
And heaven is not bowed to hell, nor life to death.
And the state of pure formless awareness has not bowed to victimhood, nor life to death.
To make it stronger, it's not been destroyed. Because that's the narrative. The ego is saying, well, the state no longer exists. It's been destroyed by victimhood and suffering. Let's see. It's been destroyed by suffering. Because that's the ego's best argument. Well, heaven is not here because look at all the suffering in this world. All life to death. What is created is apart from all of this.
What is eternally true is apart from all of this.
Actually, I forgot number 4. Sorry. You can but choose to think you die, or suffer sickness, or distort the truth in any way.
I can only choose to think I die or suffer sickness or distort the truth in any way.
What is eternally true is apart from all this. And then just read the rest in alternative. Defenses are plans.
What is eternally true is apart from all of this. Defenses are plans to defeat what cannot be attacked. What is unchangeable cannot change, and what is wholly sinless cannot sin. So,
What is
just saying the pure.
sin? Such is the simple truth.
Yeah. Such is the simple truth. It does not appeal to might or triumph. It does not command obedience, nor seek to prove how pitiful and futile my attempts to plan defenses that would alter it. Truth merely wants to make me happy. For this, where did I go there? Sorry. For this is its purpose. Perhaps it sighs a little when I throw away its gifts, and yet it knows with perfect certainty that I must receive what pure formless awareness of perfect love intends for me.
Okay, thoughts on that?
It's just talking about the simple truth. It does not appeal to might or triumph, and it doesn't command obedience, nor seek to prove pitiful attempts to plan defenses that would alter it. Truth just wants us to be happy, and that's its purpose.
Yeah.
It may sigh a little bit, but when we throw these gifts away.
Yeah, he's taking sort of poetic license. I mean, truth doesn't sigh at all. Truth just is. But he's kind of going, okay, well, maybe let's just use a bit of poetic license and say, well, maybe it sighs a little, but in truth, the truth is true and it's totally unaffected by any of your illusions. Fortunately. It just waits. It waits for you to return your mind to it. And that, it'll because it's eternal, it'll be there forever. I mean, there's this fact that demonstrates that time is an illusion. Can we carry on with that?
It is this fact that demonstrates that time is an illusion. For time lets me think what pure formless awareness of perfect love has given me is not the truth right now as it must be. The thoughts of perfect love are quite apart from time. From time is just another meaningless defense I made against the truth. Yet what it wills is here, and I remain as it extends me. Just saying that time is an illusion. Just saying time is a meaningless defense we've made against the truth. And yet what it wills is here, and I remain as it extends me. It's right here now.
The truth is here now. It is only ever has been now. An idea of time that something can change is illusory because the state is permanent. It's eternal. Time is just part of the illusion of change. So how do we measure time? Something changes. this changes and then this change. And we go, okay, well, time has elapsed between the changes. But if nothing changed, you would have no measure of time, would you? Think
No.
about that. Well,
Yeah.
the seasons didn't change. If things weren't changing, you'd have no measure of time. Be like, well, it's always the same. So I can't measure it.
Mm.
But we measure it because things change. It's like it's night and then it's day and then it's another night. Things are changing all the time. And now we're able through the change to measure time. So, okay, well, time exists. Just like change exists, but does it really? Or is there an underlying truth that's much more powerful that time is made to cover over? The truth, I'll read this one. Truth has a power far beyond defense, for no illusions can remain where truth has been allowed to enter. And it comes to my mind, it wants to let go of its defenses and stop its foolishness. It's found at any time. Today, if I choose to welcome the truth, comes to any mind, let's say, comes to any mind, wants to let go of its defenses and stop its foolishness. It's found at any time. Today, and right now, if I choose to welcome the truth. Because that's, it's only ever now. So when can you find the truth except now? You're never going to find it in the future because the future doesn't exist. So that brings us to the meditation. This is my aim today. I'll give a quarter of an hour twice to do this. So just read that from number 3. And truth will come.
And the truth will come, for it has never been apart from me. It merely waits for just this invitation which I give today. I introduce it with a healing prayer to help me rise above defensiveness and let truth be as it has always been. Sickness is a defense against the truth. I accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed right now.
Yeah. So let's meditate on that, shall we?
Oh, yes.
Session. Got 15 minutes. So perfect. He's asking us to do 15-minute med. So just make yourself comfortable. Yeah, so making yourself comfortable, sitting in your favorite meditation posture. Feet shoulder width apart, your back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Put your palms facing out, upwards. You like on your thighs and close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And notice how the stomach rises and the chest rises, and the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And you clench your sphincter muscles, the muscle used to lock the energy in. Draw the energy up the spine. Pull it into your heart center. Breathe into your heart center. And then draw it up into the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. And you just smile. Scan your mind. Just noticing any thoughts, any emotions going on, particularly anything that feels negative, negative, limiting, contracted, constricting in any way. And you just breathe into that. Remind yourself that sickness, dis-ease is a defense against the truth. So if there's any bodily condition that's troubling you, any kind of ailment or sickness that you have or anyone else has, we all know someone who's sick. And just remind yourself that sickness is a defense against the truth. It's the cause of it is dis-ease in the mind. So instead, I accept the truth of what I am and let my mind be wholly healed right now. Breathe in on this powerful truth. Embrace this truth. Let your mind be wholly healed right now. And then to help you let go, just exhale and blow out any thoughts of sickness. Blow it all away, the breeze of your breath. All the lower stomach into the spine as you expel the last remaining air out. Imagine these diseased thoughts. The disease is like a dark cloud of black smoke that's leaving you. It's going, gone. Expel it all out with your breath. And just rest. In this deep peace and stillness. So healing flashes across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal and keep defended from the light of truth. So breathe that light in and visualize the light flowing into every pore, every cell of your body, every part of your mind. There's no corner of your mind, no limited beliefs that sickness can conceal and keep defended from the awareness of truth. There are no dim figures from my dreams, nor the obscure and meaningless pursuits with double purposes insanely sought, remaining in my mind. I will be healed of all the sickly wishes that have tried to authorize the body to obey. So it is said and so it is done. So just sinking inwards into the deep peace in which the body is healed. She says, now my body is healed because the source of sickness has been open to relief. And you will recognize you practiced well by this. The body should not feel at all. If you've been successful, there will be no sense of feeling ill or feeling well, with pain or pleasure. No response at all is in the mind to what the body does. Its usefulness remains and nothing more. So see if you can go into this state. Just breathe, you observe the breath, and just go into a state where the body isn't feeling. There's just an awareness. You rest in that awareness. You sink into this awareness. This is limitless awareness. So there's no response in this awareness at all to what the body does. So just give yourself over to this awareness for a few minutes. Body will come back, its usefulness will remain, and nothing more. It's just a vehicle to allow your mind to operate in the world in an effective, miraculous, and functional way. Wow, that's all it's for. So its usefulness remains and nothing more. Perhaps you don't realize that this removes the limits you had placed upon the body by the purposes you gave to it. But as I let these go, as you let these go, strength your body has will always be enough to serve all truly useful purposes. The body's health is fully guaranteed because it's not limited by time, weather, fatigue, food and drink. Or any laws are made that served before. Talked about the peace program yesterday. This amazing lady in the US who walked across the United States 7 times in her life. She wasn't limited by time or weather, fatigue. She wasn't interested in food and drink. She ate when food was offered, but other than that, she forgot about it. Or any of these laws that we made the body serve before. So it is possible to live in this enlightened state. It requires some mind training. I need do nothing now. Say to yourself, I need do nothing now to make it well. For sickness has become impossible. And so just for a couple of minutes, go into this state in which sickness is impossible, in which the mind is totally healed. You're at peace and healed and whole. In a state where you're not even really aware of the body. Body drops away and you're just pure awareness. Just pure formless awareness of perfect love, experiencing itself as that which it is. I am that I am, and there is no other. Just let yourself experience that. Just sink into this state. Say, I've forgotten what I really am. I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth. But I'm not a body. And my mind cannot attack. So I cannot be sick. And so it is. And then rest in this peaceful, happy state beyond all sickness. Peace of God, it's been called, it surpasses all understanding. Rest in that for a couple of minutes of deep silence. So just coming back gently from this deep state into an awareness of your body and the breath and the senses and the world. And on the count of 3, now open your eyes. So 1, breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pausing at the top of the inhale. Smile. Expand your mind. Noticing any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels at all interbulating, and remind yourself that sickness is just a defense against the truth. I've forgotten what I really am. I mistook my body for myself. But I'm not a body. My mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. I cannot be diseased. And that disease is the source of all sickness. So let that go. Just blow that feeling away. Let it go with the breeze of your breath into the nothingness that it really is. It's going, going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. And rest at the bottom of the exhale for a few moments in peace and stillness. Anchor the state in. Noticing the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground, noticing what you're feeling with your hands and touching. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, a smell in your nose. Notice what you're hearing in the surrounding environment. So noticing all these things from this very still, calm, and surrendered state in which you're not a body, you are just the self, the truth. You're anchored in that state, anchor the state in, set the intention to stay there. You may need to top yourself up to do that. So listen to one of the breath breaks that I've sent you, or practice the lesson. It just says, if you make an error, correct it immediately. Should you make it by not allowing your defensiveness to hurt you any longer. Do not confuse must be healed by telling yourself, I've forgotten what I really am, for I mistook my body for myself. Sickness is a defense against the truth. But I am not a body, and my mind cannot attack, so I cannot be sick. Exhale on the truth of that to root yourself, anchor yourself into this very powerful state in which you're going to stay for the rest of the afternoon and evening. So it is said and so it is done. And now on the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So just opening your eyes, looking around the room in this very clear, calm, aware state. So just observe without judgment, without attachment, noticing what seems to be going on, but without any judgment. It's just happening, and there's no reaction. There's no dis-ease. Notice this peaceful state, this state where you're at ease. The more you stay in the state, the easier it is to stay there. And this is the benefit of being non-reactive. Stay at peace. Don't react. Don't let the mind tell you a story. You react to it. Just rest in this underlying peace and stillness, and use the lesson to help you restore your mind to that state if you depart from it. Ideally, every hour, or listen to the breath breaks. There's a meditation as well that you can listen to this evening to keep you in this really peaceful state, which is what I wish for you. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and tonight's, this afternoon's session. Okay. So thanks, Elaine.
Yep, thank you. That was very
Session.
relaxing. Very
Yeah,
good.
good.
Just,
Okay.
just what I needed. Just what I needed.
Yeah, well, so, you can always do it yourself. The recordings are there. Maybe do another one
Yes,
this.
exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jono.
Okay, great. So I'll see you tomorrow or Friday. What's
Um,
your
I
agenda
know
like tomorrow?
I've got work tomorrow here in my own place, so I won't be
Yeah,
finished till about 2 o'clock.
okay. So we do or we could do a session at 2 till 4:30 if you want,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just do Friday.
Or Friday, either or.
Mm-hmm.
See how it goes, yeah. See where you're at as well.
Yeah, I'll be able to do tomorrow afternoon. So I'll schedule a session and so other people can join if you can.
Yep,
Um,
okay.
otherwise,
Friday.
yeah, Friday afternoon.
Okie doke. Yeah, that's
Okay,
great. Thanks
see
very
you
much,
then.
Jono. All very
Right.
helpful. Thank you.
Okay.
Namaste.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
for now.
Bye.
Okay, so that's a wrap for today. Thanks to Elaine for joining, making it a dialogue, not a monologue. If you enjoyed the dialogue, then by all means hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever I go live, which is typically 4 or 5 times a week. YouTube will pop it up and say there's a live stream going on, or you can watch the recording. If you'd like to go even deeper than that, head over to lifepool.com and receive my daily quotes and blog post related to that, a daily lesson based on the Course in Miracles workbook lesson for the day, and usually send out a short meditation or breath break, as I call them, to practice the lessons. That's all freely available. Lifepool.com. You get that on Telegram, sent to you daily, no charge, and you'll also be notified whenever we go live, whenever we're going live, so you can join these live sessions if you'd like to. So lifepool.com, check it out, or hit the subscribe button. Hope to meet you on the inside soon, and wishing you much love, peace, and joy. Namaste, which means the true healed self in me acknowledges and honors that same true healed self in you.